Hello, hello, Cancer. Welcome to your mid-2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Cancer. And before we get into this, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure you ring the bell if you would like to know when I post new readings so you can come tune in for the week or the month or whatever. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Onyx Healing. I have a lot of good content on there, so check that out. It's all free and available to you. And I also have a podcast as well that's listed in the description box, so go check that out. And other than that, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to lay down this spread and then we'll get started. So this reading is much different than anything I've ever done before. Go ahead right now. I just want you to take a deep breath into the diaphragm. Notice anything that's coming up for you today. Maybe you have a specific question that you have for the second half of 2019. You're welcome to ask that now. And let's go ahead and get started with the Threads of Fate card for you. We have Shadow. Okay, so this is doing some shadow work, perhaps. This is confronting maybe a darker part of yourself. We all have wounded parts. Every single one of us. No one is exempt. So for you, this is about actually witnessing it, having compassion for it, understanding why it's there, and unpacking it, really. So try to take this in stride. It's not anything to be ashamed of or try to shy away from. It's actually something that you might want to utilize this month, or over the next 6 months, you're going to want to focus on this. Let's see what else comes up. We have ultimate potential. I choose to live a life of my fullest potential. I trust that this will draw me towards experiences and people that support my growth and accomplishment. Tuning into this frequency, I now reach higher heights than I ever thought possible. Knowing that's an option, why would I have ever tuned into anything else? I'm looking at you, Smooth Jazz Radio. So it seems to me like there's a significant connection between your potential and doing the shadow work. Remember, the wounded parts of yourself are only going to fester if you shove them in a closet. You want to make sure you give shadow room to breathe and that you give it a seat at the table, as I like to call it. And that's how you're going to reach your ultimate potential. If you shy away from the shadow work, then it's really going to hold you back because it needs attention. Okay, and then we also have sensuality. Try a tactile approach, cultivate the tingle, follow suppleness and attraction. Honor the Kundalini energy underlying the work, release any shame and feeling the thrill. Okay, so whichever statement stood out to you the most, that is what you need to know and take away from that card. I'm not gonna touch it or overread it. I really want your intuition to tune into what that sensuality is for you at this point. Okay, now I'm not doing an areas of life spread. I've been doing way too many videos, if I'm being totally honest. So this, for the 3-card pick that's here in the center, this is going to be the central energy that you're carrying with you for the second half of 2019. Do not pick more than one card. I just want you to tune into one. If you need more time, you're welcome to pause. But it's going to get too muddy if you pick more than one. There's going to be too much conflicting information. So just select one card, and that's going to be what you're carrying through the second half of 2019. And first card, we have 7 of Swords. It seems like there's a lot that you might need to keep private and to yourself for good reasons, kind of like that shadow work. Maybe there's some emotional repairing that you're doing on your own. Maybe there's a project that you're starting that you might not want to get any feedback from people from, so you're kind of keeping it under wraps so you can grow it before getting feedback from others. And I'm just getting, because this is like the sneaky card, I'm also getting it's about moving away from certain things that maybe you were really involved in before, but now you're shifting the direction that you're going, and there's a little bit of stealthiness to that where you may not want to be shouting it from the rooftops prematurely, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just about being mindful about what you're committing to and what you're owning fully moment by moment, because sometimes we need to experiment or try a few different pairs of shoes on before we settle on anything, and that's what this is allowing you to do, is just dabble and try and make an attempt and build, do the work beforehand, and then you can be a little bit more outspoken about it when you feel good and ready. And then card number 2, we have the Six of Cups, nostalgia. This could be healing childhood wounds. It could be also great soulmate card, like the right connections at the right time and the right opportunities kind of just floating in. There's a little bit of mystery to this card as well, just in terms of the karmic element that the Six of Cups brings. So for those of you looking for soulmate friends, soulmate partners, soulmate teachers, mentors, whatever, this is going to be a good season for you to actually manifest that and call that in. Don't shy away from the desire, but really focus on who would you like to co-create with, what do these people look and feel like to you, and how that's going to be nourishing you in the moment. So call in your community, because this is the time to do it. Card number 3, we have the Queen of Wands. This is about personal power, really owning your truth, owning your creativity. If there's something you want to do, this second half of 2019, you're going to want to pursue it full force. Don't hide, don't make yourself small. And this is why I told you guys to only pick one card, because these two are totally different strategies. So if you picked the Queen of Wands, this is about really allowing yourself to step into the spotlight, allowing yourself to be seen fully, and just taking that in stride as you go throughout the second half of 2019. This is also going to be a great way to weed people out. If you're wondering, do these people really align with me? Is this the right community for me to be in? Showing up and being your full self is the fastest way to weed people out. Now, these two cards up here, this is what's falling away in the second half of 2019. This is what's oncoming, the energy that's coming into your life. So you have scarcity shifting out. This is, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, I don't have enough resources, I don't have enough connections. Wherever you're feeling there's not enough potential partners, wherever you're feeling really scarce or that there's not enough, that's what's moving out. So I'm not sure if this is a result of you doing the internal work required in order for that to move out of your space, or this could be something else as well, or another strategy, if that makes sense. But the Four of Pentacles is about not wanting to give and not having enough to give, right? But that's a mental game. So this is about communicating abundance in the right ways for yourself, just so you can attract the right opportunities. And then the oncoming energy, we have the Queen of Pentacles. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's like the scarcity. You go from scarcity to abundance. That's the jump you're making in this second half of 2019. So this is an awesome reading. And remember, this is going to be bolstered by the strategy that I had you pick here, the core energy or the central energy for your year, right? Like this could be, you need to experiment first, and that's what leads you to abundance. You finally get that click or that aha. If you picked the Six of Cups, this would be your community and the right people coming into your life, and the healing work that you do is what leads to the abundance. And this is like, you need to... This is stepping into the limelight, shouting it from the rooftops, being really outspoken about it, and that's what leads to abundance. So I'm getting that these are all supporting you, whichever one you picked here. And to clarify the Queen of Pentacles, just to get a little bit more context on this, we have the Four of Stars. This is the same card that we had here, and it's going to require some training. I want to be very explicit when I say this. You are not going to move out the scarcity mindset without work. Even in the second half of 2019, it may not be sunshine and rainbows. Maybe you do have to make an investment that's kind of scary or is nerve-wracking or amplifies a whole bunch of scarcity mindset that you've been working through. That's a part of your growth. And wherever you're feeling into more than enough or plenty or abundance, that's going to be the place where you experience the most friction. I know it's counterintuitive, but that's what's happening here with this Queen of Pentacles and the Four of Stars or Four of Pentacles. So this is all about the mental framing of the experience you're having. Now this card here, this is an advice or what you need to know. And so you can apply this to any area of your life. Maybe you are focused on money, maybe you're focused on love or family or getting a new home. This is kind of like a freebie, what you need to know about this situation. You're welcome to set your intention now. You can pause and think about it. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. The Director, you have way, way, way more power than you realize. This is you being the star of the show. Like, yes, I have everything that I need. I have the right resources, the right connections. This is about everything coming full circle and stepping into empowerment rather than disempowerment. If you're feeling like there's nothing I can do and your hand is kind of off the wheel, this second half of 2019 needs you to show up differently and remind yourself that you do have a lot of power. Your creative potential is way greater than you realize. And so it's time to crank up the manifestations, crank up the intentions that you're setting for the second half of 2019. Make this big. Go big in 2019. Whatever the second half of this year, whatever your strategy might be, because the core strategy, you can go big no matter which one you chose. The Director is just showing you the power that you have and that there is, I don't want to call it control, but you're empowered this second half, and it's important for you to remind yourself of that. It's not something that comes naturally. It's very easy to put the locus of control outside of yourself, and this is about taking that back and making it internal instead. Now, to clarify the Director, we have Eight of Knives. There's never going to be a guarantee. So just because you're empowered and you're taking aligned action doesn't mean that what you're asking for just happens off the bat, right? We still experience interruptions and hiccups and little changes and detours along the way. That's part of the adventure. That's part of life. That's part of the excitement of what makes this an enriching experience rather than a plateaued experience. So remember that you're not going to be able to see around every corner or anticipate every hiccup, and nor should you. This is something that you kind of want to take in stride as you're moving forward into this more empowered half of 2019. And even if you're blind to certain things, it's not going to prevent you from getting what you want. It just means that there's some more work to do, and that's okay. People get so angry when I talk about work. But I just want you to know, across the board, being embodied, being on earth, having things that you desire, wanting a better life for yourself, it is work. All of this is work. So try not to make it a bad thing. Just be a little bit more gentle on yourself as you're doing all of this, because this is an intense reading. And I don't want you to slip into a mindset of like punishing yourself or being grueling work that you have to do. I don't see it that way, so I hope you don't either. Now let's get into the timeline. This is the first, second, third, and fourth quarter. Because this is a 6-month reading, each one of these quarters is about 6 weeks or a month and a half. So let's get into the first quarter of this timeline. We have the Knight of Swords. You see that big brain? This is telling me how you're thinking about things is getting revised and edited. And this makes sense because this covers the time period of Mercury retrograde and a little bit beyond. So I'm getting that for you, it's really important to tweak, modify, edit, set an intention around how you want your mental, how you want your mindset to be, and what your new thought process is, your new experience mentally, because that is something that, while it takes some training, if you have some deep-seated belief systems, it can be undone, it can be repaired. So use this timeline to work out any of the bugs that you have mentally. And then the second quarter, we have the 10 of Wands. This is overwhelmed. This is why I'm saying you need to be compassionate towards yourself. Don't work yourself to death. Don't try so hard that you're suffocating the joy out of your life, right? That's not a good strategy. You can do both. You can do the healing work, you can work with the shadow, you can step into your potential. You can do all of these things. Just pace yourself. Don't expect immediate results. This is a whole journey that you're going on. So take a little bit of time to decompress when you need it. Check in with your body. Know when you've had enough, or you need to make an adjustment, or you need to delegate something, and act accordingly. And the 10 of Wands is just reminding you. It's funny because it's kind of like phone a friend, call if you need help. It's okay to do that as well. If you need something, make sure you lean on whatever support you have. And I'm not just talking about like familial or friendship support, but literally any tools that you have. Quarter 3, we have the 8 of Wands. See, things are really picking up in pace during this third quarter. It's like you're moving forward, you're making things happen, you're getting it flowing and moving and growing. But it requires you to not get sucked into the overwhelm, right? You just need to restructure, delegate, figure out where you're putting all your eggs. And then once you identify where there might be some hiccups or a little bit of stagnation or something, you can step into this 8 of Wands and really propel forward. Wrapping up 2019, final quarter, the Sun. This is joy, happiness, celebration, taking a load off. So it seems like it's really intense this first half right here, and then it loosens up and things speed up starting in like September. So that, or what is this? Yeah, this is like September. So that looks a lot better just in terms of things are really coming full circle for you. So let's go ahead and do a 3-card pick. This is an oracle deck. It is not a tarot deck, so that's how it reads. You're welcome to ask a question on whatever it is that you want. And this one's flexible. Pick as few or as many as you'd like. If you need more time, pause the video. Card number 1, the one who hides the sun. Every time I see this card, the thing that comes up for me is get out of your own way. Like you're actually the one who might be shielding yourself from your own internal light. This is something I want everyone listening right now to understand, that your light is always, always, always accessible. It's always accessible to you because it's an internal state. It's not something that's determined by the external world. Yes, things can knock you off center, but remember, if you're staying in that position for an extended period, or maybe you've had kind of a stormy, troublesome season, if you're in that boat, remember that the most important thing to focus on then is the internal work. Because if that's all you have control over, that's all you have control over. So do what you can to get out of your own way. And then card number 2, we have Volcano. There's a lot brewing underneath the surface. You may not realize how much is going to come up and what you're going to get as a result of the work that you've done. But this is like, keep giving effort, because it is going to erupt. It is going to blow up, if that makes sense, and spin into your desire, but it's just sitting under the surface right now. It hasn't fully arrived. So it's just about patience and continuing to give effort, even if you aren't seeing the fruits of your labor quite yet. Card number 3, we have Dream Travel. So this might be a time when you're getting a lot of downloads, you have a lot of information coming through. There's just an emphasis on paying attention to your intuitive hits, paying attention to your dreams, paying attention to all of the things that have been coming up for you, energetically speaking, and that's going to be the strategy that you want to take, or that can support you in whatever it is you're asking about. So focus on the intuitive nature that you have, and that's going to be the best way to go. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. I absolutely appreciate you more than you could possibly know. Don't forget, if you didn't watch all 3 of your sun, moon, and rising, make sure you check out your other videos. And you can check out your Mars and Venus if you're a triple sign, so if you have the same sun, moon, or rising signs. But I also want to let you know, if you are interested in topics about intuition, being psychic, all things esoteric and metaphysical, check out my podcast. It is super, super awesome. I have loved doing it, so please check that out. I would really appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Onyx Healing. If you need to work with me one-on-one, you know I'm always available for you. So the description box has all of the links to work with me, as well as my meditations, my podcast, all of that good stuff. And don't forget, if you would like the mid-2019 overview love and relationship reading, those are now out on Patreon, bundled with the July reading. So you get 2 readings in one on those videos if you'd like to check that out. Otherwise, I also do month or weekly sign-specific readings for Patreon as well every Friday. So all of that good stuff is available to you. Check out the description box for anything that you're interested in, or if you just want some more content. And go ahead and have a beautiful rest of the year, everybody. I am sending you so much support, so much love, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.